Marvel and DC are both adept at that, kind of doing callbacks to anything, A, that might be intriguingly part of the fabric of their mythos, and B, might be any stray piece of IP that they want to, keep their hands on by reiterating. So,
yeah, that's certainly the case with them. And what I'd like to know is what's going on with my girl Donna Troy. Where's Donna Troy at right now? There's so much stuff I got to catch up on. It's funny, I was like talking with a couple of friends of mine who have been previous guests, my friend Joe Corallo and my friend Jason Perrin. And, I've always considered myself a big Legion of Superheroes fan. And both of these guys have read all the original adventure comics, Legion stories. And I'm like, I haven't even scratched the surface on that stuff. I started reading Legion in like the Cockrum Grell era, so there's so much stuff I got to catch up on. I've been terribly remiss over the last decade.
You raise a salient point, though, Patrick, because only now that you mention the breadth of the Legion's history, which I for sure aren't too well schooled in myself, it makes me wonder. I wonder if they do one of these artist editions or complete omnibuses, if anyone has in their possession the crudely drawn original Legion stories that a young Jim Shooter did to his own scripts when he first submitted to DC, because I would love to see that. Because, they hired him to write as a teenager, but they didn't think the art was like quite there. But I'd love to see that art now.
Yeah, I'd love to check that out. That'd be very interesting. And that, like that era, the Shooter Cockrum era, is some of the coolest character redesigns ever. I was on a Facebook Legion of Superheroes group earlier today, and somebody was complaining about, changing continuity in the Legion is a slap in the face to the fans who have kept the title alive. And I'm like, really? Legion of Superheroes, a title that is, riddled with time travel stories and characters being rewritten all the time. I thought that was pretty amusing. Okay, so now
I did too. I was laughing on mute. Sorry.
No, please don't mute your laughs. Let's not mute the laughs. And so anyway, so that's what we got for the NearMint segment. I'm looking forward to that book and the TV show, and maybe I need to start playing Animal Crossing.
Just briefly, Patrick, you raised an interesting point. You raised another intriguing point in that, I think this Wonder Girl is the first that I can think of simultaneous development, on both page and screen. But it seems to be like a vanguard of that among those CW shows, because the same thing's happening with the new Batwoman. I think they just introduced her character in the comics so that people will have, an advanced week or so before she's on the show. I don't think the show.
Wait, you mean the new Batwoman?
Yeah, the new Batwoman. I remember now reading that it's a different character. It's not.
No. They didn't recast because they didn't want to do that. So completely new character. And like I said, I gave up on the first season because the story just wasn't doing anything for me. It was spinning its wheels and all that. But I will check out the second season to see if there's anything more. They were really stretching out the entire first season as a storyline between the Batwoman and her criminal sister. And that's something that they could have wrapped up in like 8 episodes, but instead they ran it through the entire season.
I find that's a problem with any number of superhero shows. Like the last season of Daredevil was probably 4 or 5 episodes.
Oh, but that last episode.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, hey, listen, it's still better than 90% of the crap out there. So. No,
I'll give you that. Actually, The Iron Fist really should have only been like about 6 episodes.
You know what, man? I avoided it. I avoided it like just like I avoided Fantastic Four movies.
Well,
and
except
I was
the Roger Corman one. You should check
no. We watched the Roger Corman one together, Stu. I believe you had a copy of it on VHS.
Best looking Doctor Doom thus far.
Oh, absolutely, and the most accurate Doctor Doom thus far. No, it was I was gung ho to watch it because I've been a fan of Danny Rand's, and I think, in spite of Danny Rand's problematic attributes, that if you write the character properly, he can overcome that, the whole problem of the white savior in Asia, but they just dropped the ball. I mean, character.
That was the biggest problem with all of the Netflix shows, was that they stretched each season out to 13 episodes when they really did not need to be 13 episodes.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to the poor condition segment. First, it's some bad news. This is personal news. News that's personal to me and upsetting to me because I kind of wanted to see this. The Micronauts, which was a comic book property that was based on a toy line in the 70s, illustrated by the brilliant the brilliant Michael Golden. Christopher Golden is also brilliant, but he's a writer and friend of the show. And actually, so is Michael. Michael Golden's a friend of the show too. So Micronauts was supposed to be made into a film rather. According to the Hollywood Reporter, it's basically ended up in limbo, along with a spy thriller featuring Michael B. Jordan called Without Remorse.
That got sold to Amazon. So
okay, Without Remorse got sold to Amazon, and Micronauts has just been shelved. Although the release date was supposed to be January 4th, 2021. So I don't know when they were planning on filming this damn thing. They announced the director, but that's about it. And they were talking about at one point they were going to do a shared movie universe with Transformers, G.I. Joe.
Well, the biggest problem with that is that the studio is Paramount, and Paramount has nothing. The only franchise that they actually have that's making them any money right now is the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, and also they don't have the rights to Bug, right? Bug is still a Marvel character, right?
Oh gosh, I did not know that, because I was hoping that Bug would be in the movie.
Yeah, no, I don't think they have the rights to Bug, and I don't think there's another character they don't have the rights to, but I'm not sure which one it is. They have a Croyer, I'm almost positive.
They have to. I think a Croyer was one of the original toys.
Yeah, it might be Marionette, might be the one that they don't have.
Probably, because I think that was a Marvel created character.
Yeah. But yeah, Bug's everybody's favorite Micronaut, except for maybe a Croyer.
Well, and unfortunately, when I first heard about the Micronauts movie, I was hoping that it was going to be based on the comic, because the comic had some great stories.
Oh yeah, Micronauts is one of my favorite books from that era. It's just that had great Man-Thing story. There was a great Fantastic Four story in there. Yeah, so who knows what's going to happen? But then again, it's we're we're teetering on the fall of the Republic, so maybe after things clear up, we'll eventually get a Micronauts film. So now our other poor condition story, and I'm just going to let Adam run with this because he said earlier that he's got a lot to say about this, is the new Snyder Cut Justice League trailer was released today.
Woo!
In stunning black and white. In stunning black and white, with arguably the most overused pop song in film right now.
Honestly, somebody buy this guy a Spotify premium subscription. There are other songs out there.
Oh my God! That's this. My buddy John Mariakis made that same joke. That's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious.
I'm more afraid of having to hear Hallelujah again than I am to see how Zack Snyder messes up Dark Side. That's for sure. But yeah, and I don't know. Is he trying to make a point to HBO to like spite them for not having him done the Watchmen series? You know, since he used the same song in his version of Watchmen. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, I'm not really sure. It's, there's any number of things that just kind of bother me about it. I mean, Darkseid's look is just what the hell. And I can't imagine Darkseid, undignifying himself by lifting a weapon. If he's either going to blast you with the Omega beams or rip you apart with his bare hands.
He also kind of looks like Thanos in an undershirt. I mean, I know it's supposed to be an upside down Omega on his chest, but pretty much,
yeah. And that's another thing that I don't like. All right, his ability is called the Omega Force, or the Omega beams, or so on and so forth. But he never had the letter Omega as part of a costume until the 2000s, right? And now
that's what we call literal.
Yeah, and now they just slap it on him all the time, and I don't like it. His original look is such a wonderful simplicity to it.
Yeah, one of my main hopes is, of course, that the slate will be wiped clean for the Ava DuVernay Tom King version of New Gods, that this won't, quote unquote, count in the same way. Though I guess DC has recently announced the innovative idea that their superhero movies don't have to have interlocking continuity, which we used to call superhero movies. But so, we can maybe restart with the fourth world, whatever Zack Snyder has is hiding.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all have our fingers crossed that Ava DuVernay is going to do something completely un-Snyder-esque.
Honestly, I wouldn't hold my breath on the New Gods actually getting made, though. I'm sorry. It's characters that nobody's familiar with, and you know what? I said this several years ago, and I think Patrick, you chastised me back then too for just being too pessimistic about it.
Well, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy was a long shot, and it's just, I mean,
yeah, I think
I hear you. I know the current world is messed up. It's just I think Warner Brothers needs a few more good films under their belt before they move on to New Gods, so that way they have that base, that fan base that Marvel had when Guardians came out. Because, everyone was willing to give Guardians a shot because, hell, it's a Marvel movie. We've liked them all before. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They don't have, Warner Brothers does not have the track record that Marvel has in the theater.
And before we move off of Zack Snyder, I just want to point out that the best thing Zack Snyder ever made was the first 10 minutes of Dawn of the Dead, his first film.
Yeah, I agree. 100% I agree. I mean, I don't loathe the Watchmen the way a lot of people do. I've never submitted myself to watching Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch is, I mean, you know what? It's got decent visuals, which is basically what Zack Snyder is good for.
Yeah.
Watchmen is this. When I first came out of Watchmen out of the theater in 2009, my one sentence review, which I may have told you when I got home that night, was it's a lot like Dr. Manhattan. It's pretty to look at, but it's very cold on the inside.
Yeah.
But everything else that Zack Snyder has done since has been very disappointing. Man of Steel, I think, works better as an Alien Coming to Earth film than a Superman film. I thought Batman v Superman was atrocious. As a matter of fact, if you had been sitting with me